we run a breeding, background and fattening operation here in Queensland, and you know, our the fertility level of our breeders is the key factor to our business. You know, if we haven't got the fertility right and a high calving percentage with our breeders, well, it affects every other stage of our business. And so I guess, you know, with me being in a wheelchair now and no longer able to manually palpate and preg test myself, we had to look at what other options are out there, and I guess that's what brought us to the ReproScan ultrasound unit. After seeing it used, you know, we were convinced that it was definitely the way to go as far as, you know, being user friendly and quite easy on the operator. And so Sarah's taken on the role of preg testing within our business, and you know, it's tenfold times better than manually palpating cows. You know, its ease of use is incredible. To give you an example of how easy it is, I had a backpacker working for me here crush side, and when Sarah had to duck off from the yards, I got her to literally use the machine. So if you can read the screen and see that, you know, that there's a pregnancy on the screen, it is simply that easy, you know, and we've seen a huge benefit within our breeding operation here in Queensland. Our fertility level has risen. And one of the biggest things is you're able to identify cattle that are not in calf at an earlier date. You know, we're not waiting around till that 2 and 3 month stage. So there's no comparison, you know, between the ReproScan and manually preg testing. You know, it eliminates that level of fatigue. If you're running large numbers of cattle through the yard each day, you know, you haven't got a bloke sitting there with a sore shoulder after preg testing. As an example, Sarah can preg test, you know, 400 breeders in a day quite easy and quite comfortable, and she hasn't, you know, she's not worn out at the end of the day. So even using the ReproScan on a large scale operation in the Northern Territory, you know, one of the key points, one of the most important things to remember is how fast, you know, you can run cattle through the yard. It eliminates the need to, you know, to flick a kick gate and step in behind a cow when you're preg testing. It's as simple as leaning in with the repro arm and essentially identifying whether or not you're in calf. That's probably one of the most important things, is the speed in which you can preg test cattle, and because it's so user friendly, and you know, it's not a labour intensive way of preg testing. You know, it's nothing to run 700, 800, 900 head of cattle through the yards in one day. So running a cattle business is the same as running any other business. You know, it really does come down to dollars and cents, and by investing into the ReproScan, you know, it's lift our bottom line in the sense that we're able to identify cows that should be in calf that aren't, but most importantly, we can identify them from an early age, you know, from an early stage of pregnancy. Therefore, you know, we're not carrying cows that are freeloading. You know, essentially, if a cow's not producing, she's not on the property, and we're able to identify that at a very early stage, as opposed to, you know, manually preg testing when you're normally 2 or 3 months down the track.